Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being American in YouTube Ronin. And I would like to welcome you to tonight's review of the Netflix film HAVOC, written and directed by Gareth Evans, the director of the Raid films, starring Tom Hardy, Timothy Oliphant, and Forrest Whitaker. I want to say hello to everyone currently joining us on X and Rumble. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Already in the chat. FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Does this make up for Star Trek Nemesis? For Tom, well, stay tuned. Also to Slab Bulkhead, 77th birthday today. Outstanding. The man's in better shape than I'll ever be. I'm seeing the Thunderbolts next week. A friend of mine is an extra in it. Right on. All right. But first thing is first. All right. Now, I first became familiar with the term heroic bloodshed when I saw an interview with Quentin Tarantino back in the early 90s in regards to the films of John Woo and Ringo Lam in particular. Now, this is kind of movie that can be an action fan's dream if done in the hands of the right person, or if it's in the hands of the wrong person, it will be a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. It'll just be violence for the sake of having violence in your film. And the heroic bloodshed movie was one that kind of went away for a while. HAVOC brings it back. It is very obvious, if you are aware of the heroic bloodshed films, you will be able to identify which movies are being referenced in this film. And this is not a ripoff of any one particular film. Do not get me wrong. Because to me there is a difference between ripoff and homage. This is an homage. Gareth Evans is clearly a fan of kung fu films, certainly. That's obvious with The Raid. He is a fan of gangster films like The Godfather, which you can tell with The Raid too. He can go into that sort of, British kind of Hammer horror kind of films. He's obviously a fan of like Quatermass and stuff like that, which he proved with Apostle. An interesting film. One I kind of want to revisit. And obviously the Raid films, are outstanding. That second film is, I think, one of the best sequels ever made. And may even be better than its predecessor, which is another rarity when it comes to sequels. So it is very obvious that he pays attention to what makes these kind of films work, why they are popular, and he takes the best parts of them and creates his own brand of magic. And HAVOC is the kind of action movie that I thought I would never see again. And I had a blast watching this movie. Pardon the pun. I don't think it would have hurt it being on the big screen. It may even belong there. This is a movie where if the right people find it, and this is not going to be a movie for everybody. If you do not like the films that I mentioned, or the type of films that I mentioned, then this is not going to be for you. And not in that when we didn't make it for you way. If it's not your cup of tea, then it's not going to be your cup of tea. I get it. That's fine. But I spent the 80s and 90s watching movies like this and coming to have a certain respect for it, for what went into making it on the fight choreography level, on a technical level. And I'm not saying that HAVOC is like the best movie that's out there. It's not. But it's up there, man. It is. And I'll go into the pros, and then I'll go into the cons, because there are a couple of cons. Basically, this the HAVOC starts out. There's this heist gone wrong. There is a chase scene that involves the thieves who are ripping off this shipment of drugs and this group of what turns out to be corrupt cops who are working with these Chinese triad to they're in league with this Chinese gang. Now, during the course of this, the thieves get away, but they have very badly injured one of the cops. Now, that's where Tom Tom Hardy's character and how Tom Hardy's character gets involved with this is that one of the thieves turns out to be the son of the DA. This, of course, very corrupt. He's either the DA or the mayor. I keep getting mixed up. I think he's the mayor. So I may say DA, I may say mayor. That's kind of like the one thing I keep getting mixed up on. Anyway, a very high up public official, and he's played by Forrest Whitaker. And one of the thieves turns out to be his son. So what happens is the thieves, namely Forrest Whitaker's son and his girlfriend, have also made a deal with this other group of Chinese, because basically as the movie progresses, we come to realize there's kind of a civil war kind of going on within this Chinese gang, where there are these two characters that are kind of fighting for control of this particular gang. So Forrest Whitaker's son and his girlfriend go in and make a deal with the fella who is the son of the boss of the gang, who's in China. Now, this other group who are wearing these who are masked. They're wearing hockey masks that look like demon faces. They come in shooting, and during the course of this shootout, they kill the son of the boss. I'm not giving anything away. This is like in the first. This is like in the first 10. Everything I've told you is in the first 10 minutes of the film. You find this all out very quickly at the beginning. And hello to Connie Cleary, faithful Blue Wrench channel member, Bird Woman of YouTube. All right, so Tom Hardy and his partner are sent in to investigate, and he recognizes the son, Forrest Whitaker's son, who's fleeing the scene, and he's been caught on camera. So he goes to Forrest Whitaker, brings him up to date. Your son is involved in this. And basically, he gets blackmailed by Forrest Whitaker into, hey, basically, you go in and save my son. You know, you tell on me, I'm going to tell on you. You know, so Tom Hardy basically gets blackmailed, because it turns out he was at one point involved with these corrupt cops. And these corrupt cops were his old squad, his old unit, a narcotics unit. So it becomes, he is now trying to track down the son, rescue him, bring him back to Forrest Whitaker. The Chinese gang, because the boss shows up, they're trying to kill the son. They, during the course of this, they kidnap Forrest Whitaker. So they have him basically give us the son will give you Forrest Whitaker back. This is all very early on in the film. I'm not really giving anything away. This is all the setup. And basically everything kind of spirals from there. And you have characters who switch sides during the course of the film, and it really is a lot to it really is a movie that throws a lot at you, but it does it in a way that you can follow it. You're following Tom Hardy, you're following Forrest Whitaker, you're following, his son and his girlfriend who are trying to get away, and their gang, you know, such as they are, in over their head is what they are. You have the corrupt police squad. You have, Tom Hardy's partner, who's like the one straight arrow in the entire film, and is the only one that's not playing an angle. It very much their relationship very much reminded me of Insomnia, and the whole interplay between Al Pacino and Hilary Swank in that movie. It's very much that kind of a relationship. A guy who is trying to cover up for his misdeeds, and she can either follow him into his private hell, or she can be a good cop. And that's kind of what's going on with this character as well. You have, you have the tumult that's going on with the Chinese gang, where you have, you know, what seems to be these two factions within that gang, and how that plays out over the course of things. And then there's what the movie is really about, which is the action. And it is this, as I said, very much in the vein of the heroic bloodshed movies of the 90s. This is very much an homage to John Woo, to Ringo Lam, and the movies that they made, 30, 40 years ago. And this is, like I said, this is a movie that is an action fan's dream. I had a blast with this thing. It is, in my opinion, one of the better movies this year. I do plan to see it again. I'm probably going to watch it a bunch of times, I'm sure. Now, there are issues. It's not a perfect film. It's up there. It's up there because I am like I said, I am a sucker for a movie like this. Okay, I just am. So I think I was probably going to like this regardless, but there's certainly enough there for me to very highly recommend it. And hello to Enigma Severus. Says I'm watching this now. Okay, cool. I'll get back with you. All righty. Yeah, let me know what you think. Now, there are a couple of things that I think are And this is going to be a non-spoiler review, folks. I don't want to give anything away. Everything that I've talked about is in the first 10 or 15 minutes. What goes on in the other 90 minutes after that, I'm not going to give that away. Now, like I said, there are a couple of things that I think downgrade it slightly for me. And the main sticking point with me is some of the visual effects. And there are clearly some visual effects in this movie. Some of them work. There are scenes in this that are put together to look like long takes. Not as much as Extraction did, but along those lines, of panning, having these long panning shots, for example, seeing somebody get out of a car, go up some stairs, go inside of a building, pan past that building to see like Tom Hardy's outside in his car surveilling this building already. So it's like that. There are some transitions that you can tell were green screen, or I've heard some people suggest maybe even AI. You can tell. You can. Is it bad enough that it takes me out of the movie? No. Because you're dealing with a movie that's kind of a comic book anyway. With some of the I mean, plot wise, it's kind of standard. You kind of know kind of who the bad guys are going to be and why. You know, um, the fact that the character, that it's going to be basically this crime does not pay plot. You know, um, and that the good characters will come out on top, and the bad or immoral ones will meet their fate. Um, which does make where one of the characters ultimately does go pretty interesting. And again, I'm not going to give that away. But I mean, so it does lead to a certain predictability. But was it bad enough that it bothered me or anything? No, because I understood what kind of movie this is meant to be. And it does have an audience. And it is an audience that has missed not having a movie like this for a while. So I am going to give it my buy it on 4K rating, 4 out of 5, despite a couple of, like I said, a couple of the misgivings that I do have. Because I understand what was behind this movie. And I understand the type of movie that is being made. And even though there are faults, I dug the hell out of it, and I had a blast. And I actually genuinely felt something watching this movie. And that's the problem with so many Hollywood movies now, is this: I watch them and I feel nothing. Very rarely are there movies made anymore that get any kind of emotion out of me. And this was one that did, because it reminded me of those films I grew up, well, not necessarily grew up, but, kind of my teenage to early 20s years, of watching these kind of films. So for me, it was a bit of a nostalgia trip. So to answer the question that is in the thumbnail, is Gareth Evans the writer director of this film and of the Raid films? Is he the next John Woo? And I think with this movie, he proves that he's certainly capable of making a kind of movie that John Woo would make. But yet at the same time still be his own man. If you're a fan, in particular, of action films, you are going to dig the hell out of this movie. If you enjoyed the heroic bloodshed movies that John Woo and Ringo Lam and men like them made famous back in the day, you're going to enjoy this, because it is that kind of a film. This is up there with The Killer and Hard Boiled and City on Fire. If you like those movies, you're going to like this. So that's really what I have to say about it, outside of, like, going into spoilers, which I don't want to do. This is the number one movie on Netflix. And I understand Netflix is not for everybody, and I understand why. I get it. So I mean, if you've got to go and watch this movie another way, then have at it. But I am definitely highly recommending this one. I had a lot of fun with it. It's an intense film. It is gory. It's got a lot of action. You are going to wince at some of the things that happen. It's very unapologetic for what it is, with the violence, with the language. No one is safe. you know, um, basically any character can and will die at any moment. you know, so it's like, it's like Joe Bob Briggs says, used to say in the commercial for Monster Vision back in the day. There, what was that drive-in theater he used to have on? He says, any character can die at any moment, and that's kind of this movie too. Um, yeah, like I said, I had a couple of misgivings. The visual effects don't always work. Yeah, the story's a little standard, but so what? I get it. I took this movie for what it is. And hello to the tired midnight blogger, the voice of Northern Oklahoma, Curtis Selby. Curtis has had some pretty interesting things to say on his channel of late. And so please check out his channel. All right. So, folks, I am recommending HAVOC, written and directed by Gareth Edwards, starring Tom Hardy. Check this movie out, especially if you are an action fan. If you're a fan of Gareth Evans' previous films, if you're a fan of, in particular, John Woo and Ringo Lam, you are going to see what inspired this movie. So check it out. HAVOC. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. All right. I do want to once again say hello to everyone currently joining us on X and on Rumble. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to remind everyone that in a little under an hour, right here on this channel, I will be joined by Troy Pacelli, Natters Network, and Aged Boomer for a special extended edition of Live from Sparkwood in 21. And we are going to be watching and discussing David Lynch's first feature film from 1979, Eraserhead. Yes. And we are also, I do want to remind everyone that because we are going along tonight, there will be no Blake 7. But that program will return next week. I also want to remind everyone that my show, Coming Attractions, 11:30 Thursday night, right after Netters Network's Thursday Things, Tom Conkle will be her guest. And as soon as that program has concluded, you can go straight into Coming Attractions, where I will let you know what I am going to be up to for the next week. Unscripted will return on Sunday. And hey, I'm going to have hopefully a bunch of reviews coming up. And stay tuned to my community page. And for updates and whatnot. I do want to say hello to all of the new subscribers. There have been some new subscribers this in the past month. I do reviews like this. I do weekly programs. And I try to have fun with it. Sometimes I get a little ranty, but not always. And everybody is welcome, too. This isn't an echo chamber. If anybody has seen HAVOC, as Enigma is in the middle of watching right now, he stopped by to say hello. So he'll be watching the review later. Even though this is a non-spoiler review, I didn't give away anything. Check out this movie. Let me know what you thought. Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Review this movie on your own channels if you have one. The more the merrier. I'd love to hear from you. All right. So that is my review. HAVOC. I want to thank everyone in the chat. Curtis Selby, the Bird Woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary, Enigma Severus, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim, everyone watching on X and on Rumble. I plan to do more content on Rumble, so stay tuned. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night. Take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy. Watch HAVOC, because this is how we win.